Hi everyone, welcome to Moonbeam's Messages. This is a collective reading today that is for Sun, Moon and Risings. If it doesn't resonate with yourself, then please take what resonates with you and leave the rest for someone else. I hope you like your messages today. If you do, please like and subscribe to the channel and you'll get updates every time that I put new content on the channel. Okay, let's get into the reading. Hi, this is a reading for Leos out there that may currently be going through separation. Now, it is a collective reading, so not everything will fit. So please only take what fits and leave what doesn't. Don't force it to fit your situation. Today is the 15th of June. Hopefully when it falls into your feed is when it's likely to be relevant for yourself, but it could be related to your past, present or future. Okay, so let's get into it. Spirit, can we get some cards for Leo, please, with regards to the separation that they may currently be going through? So why it happened, what the chances are of reconciliation, and what healing needs to be done. Okay, can we get some cards, please, for Leo with regards to the separation that they are currently going through? Oh, goodness me. That is half a deck trying to jump out for you. Right, so we'll take those. One more card, please, Spirit. Not half a deck this time, please. You have definitely got the fastest lot of jumpers I have seen today. Okie dokie. So, at the bottom of the deck, we've got the Strength card, and that is currently in reverse. So this is suggesting that you might be lacking a little bit of self-discipline, potentially. You might be lacking a little bit of faith within yourself. That is also the card for Leo. So it is your card. Yeah, it's suggesting that you may also be a little bit ego-driven at the moment as well. So you might be letting your ego dictate your behaviour. You could be feeling powerless with regards to the situation, with regards to the separation that's going on. You could also be unable to tame your passions, potentially. You might also be feeling a little bit physically weak, and you might be lacking some resolve. So you might be feeling a little bit cowardly with what needs to be done. Now, in why did this happen? We have a Judgment card. Now, I'm pretty sure that Judgment card came out sideways, so I'm not sure why I've turned it up. I don't even remember turning it up into the upright. But this is suggesting that there was some sort of redemption. Something needed to be released and stopped in order for some sort of redemption to take place. Now, if it was on its side, then that is a bit of it was more of a challenge, that certain things were not being acted upon. So it could be that people, someone might have been receiving a wake-up call, unwilling to accept responsibility for certain things, and it just caused too much of an issue because it wasn't being dealt with, and that's potentially what has caused this to then end. But yeah, so it just suggests, like I say, that this, some sort of ending was needed, potentially. Things needed to come to an end in order for some sort of reconciliation. So like a release and a start, potentially. So something wasn't quite right with it. It needed to come to an end. So that you could potentially re-examine and be reborn from it. So whether this is you or your person that's caused this to end, or whether it's just something where it needed to come to an end on its own, circumstances. It could even be that something else was renewed. So maybe somebody renewed something with someone else, or maybe an old feeling was renewed, potentially for something else, maybe some of the passions. But let's get some clarification. Spirit, can you clarify this Judgment card for me, please? Okay, so we've got a 5 of Cups, a 4 of Wands, and an 8 of Wands. So there was some miscommunication that's happened along this. So potentially something needed to come to a closure, because there was a lot of miscommunication. You've got the 4 of Wands in the reverse, which is suggesting that it was a very unhappy relationship. Not necessarily very unhappy, but when that 4 of Wands is in the upright, it is a celebration card. It's stability. This is somebody that's feeling trapped, stuck. They are not happy in the situation that they're in, and potentially it's not very harmonious. It does look as though, you know, potentially something gone in the way, possibly the miscommunication. It becomes stagnant as well, a little bit stuck. And then we've got this 5 of Cups, which is suggesting that somebody was feeling guilty about the situation. So maybe something had happened, and they were holding on to a lot of guilt, not really recognizing that actually, you know, there is still something there. Because if you have a look on this cup, you've only got 3 of the cups have knocked over. There's still 2 that are standing up. It's like they weren't recognizing that there was still something there that they can rebuild from. They were just kind of stuck in regret, self-sacrifice as such, a sorrow. It might be that they may have lost something else, and they were, you know, it could very well be that maybe something in the relationship has happened and somebody's lost something. You know, it could be anything that was lost. Potentially it could be the loss of a person, you know, and it could, well, how do we put it, loss of a person, loss of a job, loss of a child, worse, you know, all of them are horrible. It could even just be that they felt they've lost the emotions, and they're feeling, you know, felt guilty about it, but not realizing that actually the union, the 2 of Cups, is the union card, the card of 2 people being together, that attraction, the agreement, the love, the happiness, you know, that balance. It's right behind them. They've just turned their back on it. So somebody was feeling, you know, it looks as though somebody's feeling, or was feeling guilty, and that's what has caused this to come to an end. Somebody feeling stuck, not happy, but feeling guilty about it too. It could even be that these are 2 different people, somebody feeling stuck and happy, and somebody just feeling guilty over things that happened. But either way, you know, that's what brought this to an end. Now, what kind of healing is required in this? So you've got the Death card, which has come out as a challenge on its side, and you've also got a King of Pentacles in the reverse. So it looks, so from the Death card, now the Death card doesn't actually mean death. It is very much an end of some sort of cycle in order for things to be reborn. So that could be an end of a way of thinking, it could be an end of a lifestyle, it could be an end of negative habits, it could be an end of a relationship, it could be any number of things. It could just be an end to a particular way of thinking or a particular way of doing certain things. So that looks like it might be a bit of a challenge, because it looks as though maybe you might struggle to end something. Potentially it looks as though that could be relatively challenging for you to, in order to release it and start again, or just renew yourself, or, you know, be reborn with a new kind of way of thinking, or a new way of looking at things, or a new way of doing things. And then you've got this King of Pentacles in the reverse. Now, the King of Pentacles in the reverse is somebody that is unethical about certain things, and can also be a little bit in debt. So this just suggests as well that you might need to look at healing your finances, potentially making sure that you're doing things in an ethical way as well. So maybe that's something that you need to release. Maybe if you're somebody that can't, how do you put it? If you're somebody that spends a lot of money, it might be something where you need to release that habit and come out of that habit potentially. And depending on how you spend it will obviously depend on how easy that is to come out of it. It could also be if you have some negative unethical traits, potentially unethical habits that you might have. Now when we say unethical, that is just obviously things that aren't to go with the norm. So whether it's certain things, I don't know, if you do certain drugs that might be obviously unethical, they might be illegal, that might be something you need to release. If it's something where, if you're supposed to be in a monogamous relationship, but you seek excitement outside of the relationship, potentially, again, that's an ethical practice to some people. That could be needing to be relooked at. It could be that you might make money on the side as an escort. Again, that could be construed as being unethical. It's all down to opinions, really. People's different opinions on what they class as being ethical and what they don't. But it is suggesting that there might be some unethical, unorthodox practices that you could be doing that you might need to release in order to renew yourself as such and come out of it renewed and feeling better. So it's definitely suggesting that you do need to put something to an end, but that you are going to struggle, or it is going to be a bit of a challenge to do that. Now, in the chances of your reconciliation, so you have got the Eight of Pentacles. So there is a possibility of reconciling. However, it does look as though it's going to be hard work. That Eight of Pentacles is somebody who puts in a lot of hard work. So it does look as though, it is possible, but it might be something where you need to put in a lot of effort. Oh, I need to do some clarification on these cards. So let's hold up on that Eight of Pentacles at the moment. Let's go get some clarification on this Death card and this King of Pentacles. Spirit, can you please clarify this King of Pentacles and the Death card for what is required for healing? See if we can get down to what those negative. Okay, so the Devil has come out. So that's Capricorn energy. So we've got Scorpio and Capricorn come out, along with Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn. So you may be dealing with one of those. We've got the Empress in the upright. I'm going to get any more, please, Spirit. And we have a Queen of Pentacles, and she's in the reverse. So for that, King and Queen of Pentacles, they are divine counterparts. So in your healing, so the Devil then. So this could be a bit of a challenge. So whatever your unethical thing is, whatever you're spending money on, the Devil is part of your reason that you're going to find something hard. So the Devil is representative of addictions, negative toxic behavior, basically any type of vice that can cause negative, bad influences. So it could be, drinking, smoking, gambling, sex addictions, workaholic, codependency. It could even just be things like self-deprecation. So if you're always talking to yourself in a bad way, if you've anything like that, it could be that you trap people, you might manipulate people, that sort of thing. It needs to stop. You know, that's what you need to heal. You need, and things like that can be really, really hard to heal from. Now it is suggesting as well that you have an Empress here, or that you may need to embrace some Empress energy, or that there might be an Empress that is there to help. So they are generally somebody that is normally very nurturing, they're very giving. They could be a mother figure potentially. They could even be a mother. But they're very productive, they're abundant, and they are, you know, they're prosperous, but they're usually there, and then they're normally there, and they generally help anybody. We have also got this Queen of Pentacles. Now, the Queen of Pentacles is also somebody that usually is quite generous and helps people, but she's in the reverse. So she is suggesting that you may also be disinterested in domestic affairs, and that, you know, you might be a bit bad at saving money. So again, with that King of Pentacles, they're not really very good with money. So I've got a feeling that this is probably your energy more than a person. I mean, it could very well be that you need to embrace this Empress energy. You may need to be more nurturing, take charge, be more loving, more giving, because this Queen of Pentacles is suggesting that you're not interested. So if you've got a family, if you've got children, this is suggesting that you nurture that, whereas this is saying that you may not have been doing that, potentially. So part of the negativity that you might need to break free of is the disinterest in family matters. So maybe if you're somebody that, how do we put it, you have kids and then you don't necessarily think that having children should change how you act. You know, everybody needs to, you can't expect to be the same person once you've had children, because you need to take responsibility for those children. They can't do it themselves. So if you're somebody that that doesn't understand that, responsibilities and roles change once children are involved, that's something that you might need to take a step into. It could very well be that you might not have been somebody that took part in a lot of family life. You might be somebody that was very much brought up along the lines of, the woman's the one at the home that's doing all the looking after the children, and the man goes to work. Roles can be reversed in this. This is just, stereotypical type of things that I'm coming out with. It could very well be that I'm reading this for a female, that, genders are reversed. This is just, personality traits and ideologies. If you're somebody that thinks that, the other person should be the one staying at home, because you're the person that's making all the money, it's their responsibility to bring up the children. It might make you disinterested in families. So you might feel that you're not part of the family as such, or you might have took a step back, which is where, things were imbalanced, and you might have been feeling guilty potentially. So it could very well be that you need to pick up that role and start being more nurturing towards your family, and break free from that disinterest potentially. Especially, like I say, if you've got children involved, you need to be, showing interest in them. It might very well be that you had parents that didn't really engage with yourself, so that might be something that you've been brought up to think is normal. But it could be that you had a toxic family life growing up, where kids were just left to their own devices, or you couldn't really talk to your parents or things like that. This is suggesting that you do need to do some nurturing, and that being disinterested in what goes on in the family, I mean, that can literally be not just looking after the family, but things like the bills, buying of the presents and stuff like that. If you leave that to somebody else all the time, that's you being disinterested from it. That's you not taking part in it. So this is suggesting that is something that you need to release. That's something you need to potentially relook at and release that way of thinking, and, like I say, embrace that Empress that's nurturing and giving. Okay. Now, like I say, in the area of the potential reconciliation, you've got this Eight of Coins, Eight of Pentacles. Now, that is suggesting that it will take some work. It's going to take some hard work as well from both of you. And now we also have the Hierophant, which is suggesting that there could be some divorce on the way. You've got an Eight of Cups, which is suggesting that somebody is potentially looking at walking away. Doesn't necessarily mean that they're walking away from the relationship, but they are walking away from a way of thinking potentially. So here you've got a 3 and a 5. So they're walking away from guilty feelings, feeling sad, feeling abandoned. They're walking away from potential third-party situations or thoughts of it. They're walking away from celebrations. But we also have this Ace of Pentacles, which is a brand new start. Okay, it is a brand new start with abundance. So it could be reconciliation, but in a different way. It doesn't have to be a romantic reconciliation. It could just be that you are considering working together, or maybe you go into business with each other. Again, that could be why there's a lot of hard work going in there. It could be either, because that Ace of Pentacles is the start of everything. It doesn't have to be just, money. It can literally be a new start to everything. But like I say, this Eight of Cups doesn't have to be walking away from a relationship as such. It could just be walking away from a state of mind. So if you're able to release your issues here, that could suggest that you're releasing those issues, or you want to move forward from releasing that. It's also restarting a journey. So it could be that you want to restart something. So yes, you may find that you might end up with a divorce, but it's suggesting that, but that's fine. That, if you put in the effort, you can restart this and have a brand new prosperous beginning with it. Okay, so that is a possibility of reconciliation with regards to that. Now, what is blocking that reconciliation? We have got a King of Wands in the reverse. So the King of Wands, when he is in the reverse, is somebody who is a little bit, how do we put it? He is someone that is a little bit mean-spirited and a little bit overpowering. So it could be that either you or your person might have a very domineering personality. One of you could be a little bit intimidated potentially. It could be that loyalty may have been an issue in why the relationship ended potentially, and that might be something that needs to be addressed, because sometimes, well, the King of Wands, when he is in the upright, he is somebody that is very loyal, he's honest, he is what do you call it? It begins with an I can't even think of what the word is. I'll get you back to you when I remember it potentially. He's got integrity, that's what it is. He's got a lot of integrity, he's charismatic, but he's also very passionate. He stands up for others as well, and he's honest. So if there's been issues in the past where people haven't been stood up for, honesty might have been an issue, loyalty, things like that, that might be a bit of a challenge. Obviously it will be a challenge. He's in the reverse, so it could be something where you might need to find that you might need to work on how to rebuild trust if there's been lies that have been told. It might be that you may need to show the person that, or one of you needs to show the other one that they're willing to stand up for them. This could even be another person in your energy. It could be somebody that is very mean-spirited and spiteful. That could be a challenge, that could be trying to get in the way of a reconciliation. So it very well could be somebody within your energy, or your person's energy, that is trying to block it all. The King of Wands is Aries, Leo, Sagittarius energy. That Hierophant is Taurus. I don't know did I do the Devil? The Devil is Capricorn. Yes, it is. Again, we've got Queen of Pentacles there, Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus, and the Death card was Scorpio. But yeah, so it could very well be that this King of Wands might be somebody in your person's energy or your energy. Now, to go along with that, we have got the Fool in the reverse, okay, to clarify that King of Wands, which is suggesting that somebody may have tried to start and may have fallen on their face. It's very much of a, a bit of a misstart. It could even be that somebody is unwilling to restart or try again. Somebody's head is potentially overruling their heart. So where you might be thinking, or where one of you is thinking, you might both be really, really in love, but somebody might be sitting there thinking and overthinking that things can't work out. And that could be causing some issues. Maybe somebody is not willing to put the work in that's needed. Obviously, you've got a lot of healing to do looking at this. So it could potentially be that you're not currently willing to do the healing work that's required in order to get this reconciliation. You've got this Five of Swords here as well. Now that Five of Swords is in the reverse, so that is suggesting that some challenges that have been going on are coming to an end. It's avoiding dramatic situations and staying out of people's business. It's also trying not to get triggered with things. So if somebody's trying to trigger you with anything, again, if this King of Wands is somebody in your energy, they could be trying to give you a bit of a trick. Now, the Wheel of Fortune we've got is in the reverse, which is again suggesting that the lessons haven't been learnt, which is also a challenge. So if you haven't learnt lessons, which I'm assuming is to do with all this healing that needs to go on, you're just going to repeat the same thing. So you need to learn your lessons from it. You need to do your healing, learn the lessons that you need to in order to move on and for it to be successful. Because if you don't learn the lessons, you're just going to have you're going to have negative karma. This is also an unwillingness to change. So we've got two cards here of somebody not willing to do something because they don't want drama. It's like they're trying to avoid it. They think that whatever is going to happen is just going to cause drama, and what's the point? So they're not even willing to try. So that is your biggest blockage to a reconciliation, is the fact that somebody doesn't want to try and somebody doesn't want to learn the lessons. Okay. Now the feelings of your person, you've got the Queen of Pentacles. Okay, and she's in the upright. So your person, so that's Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus energy. So your Queen of Pentacles is somebody that is very nurturing. So they want to take care of everything. Not necessarily they want to take care of everything, but your person's somebody that is very generous. They're very loving. They're very comforting. I am assuming that they are still in love with you. They potentially want to take care of you, and that, how do we put it? They're good at making a home. They're good at making money. They're abundant. They're generous. They're loving. They're kind. The Queen of Pentacles is amazing, basically. And they are feeling that it could be successful. They are feeling that, they are abundant. They are willing to work and be generous with things. Because the Queen of Pentacles is also somebody that is nurturing, and, she's willing to do the work. So it does look as though your person is willing to be nurturing. So maybe she's this Empress as well that is willing to help you while you're going through your lessons, while you're starting to learn and come out of whatever it is that you need to come out of. Might not be, might be somebody complete, it just suggests that your person's very much wanting to have a home with you. We do have the Four of Pentacles, so they are willing to release things. They, if it's something where money's an issue, they are willing to potentially help out, give freely. They're very much appreciating that not everything can be bought. I keep dropping cards now all of a sudden. But yeah, so they are very much appreciating things, or that they're not very materialistic, this Queen of Pentacles, potentially, because it looks as though they would be willing to give you anything. You know, and that they appreciate that, you know, when money isn't there, happiness isn't bought, kind of thing. And now we also have a Knight of Pentacles that popped out in the reverse, and a King of Swords that has popped out in the reverse. So your person is potentially feeling that you might be a bit unreliable, and that you might be somebody who cuts corners, and that either you or they are happy to just plow on regardless of what anybody thinks. I've got a feeling that that's potentially what they feel about you. And we've also got this King of Swords. So either you or they, well, either they feel about you, because this is their feelings. You know, they might feel that you might be a bit manipulative, potentially, or that you haven't got a grasp of the truth. Potentially that you're also very self-critical, and that you're also very critical of other people, and that you don't want to live with rules, potentially. So it does look as though your person may be seeing you as somebody that, yeah, isn't reliable and possibly hates themselves, and could be potentially super critical of them. And you might be pushing things that have hurt you in the past, things that you've done, things that you haven't healed from. Possibly you might be pushing it onto them. Either that, or they are this person. So they could be, you know, not very reliable and hypercritical, and not really living without rules as such. But it's a bit odd that you'd have a Queen of Pentacles that is being generous and wanting to help, if they're not going to be reliable and living without rules. So that's potentially how they're viewing you. Okay. Now, guidance for your current situation. We've got this Magician. So have confidence in yourself. Have you know, make sure that you are being confident in yourself. You have got the power to do whatever you want. You've got the talent. You know, you've got the focus, and you have got the initiative to do it. You have also got every skill you need in order to move forward and potentially to heal yourself. So let's get some clarification on this Magician. So the Magician's also somebody that initiates things. So it could very well be that you might need to initiate your healing and possibly reconciliation. Okay, so we've also got the Hanged Man in the reverse, the High Priestess in the reverse, and we've got the Four of Swords in the upright. You've got a lot of fours out here. I don't know if I mentioned it earlier, but it's definitely worth checking out some reoccurring numbers. You've got 4, 4, 4. Pretty sure I've seen lots of ones and aces around. We've got a few fives out as well. So it might be worth checking reoccurring numbers to see if your angels or spirit guides have got any messages they want to give you. A couple of 8s as well out here on here. But yeah, so let's get into this Magician then. So potentially your intuition might be a little bit blocked. You might feel like you haven't got the information that you need in order to move forward. You might have a lack of faith, and you're not really in harmony with yourself. You might also feel a bit excluded, but you know, having that confidence in yourself will help. And like I say, potentially some initiation starting from yourself. The Hanged Man in the reverse is also suggesting that you are unwilling to surrender potentially, and that you've got a fixed viewpoint and that you don't really want to change it. It also suggests that you might have some selfish behavior, and that you could also be unable to switch off. Okay, so this is something that you potentially might need to heal from, because we also have this Four of Swords, which is a card of healing. So this is suggesting take time to yourself, take some time to reflect, withdraw, have some solitude to regenerate yourself. You might need some sleep as well if you're not sleeping very well. But this is a card where you need to do some healing. Okay, so whether that is healing because of certain vices that you need to stop doing, so if it's drinking, smoking, whatever, drugs, who knows, you might need to do some physical healing. But this is also mental healing. It is also suggesting that you might need to be patient. So if it is something where you want to manifest the new start, or whatever it is that you want to move forward, you might need to be patient, because it is something where some healing is required first. Okay, so yeah, that is definitely what it looks like. But like I say, it is also suggesting that you might need to look at things from a different viewpoint. So maybe if it could be it could be something as simple as, if your person has turned around and told you certain things, if you've just dismissed them as being either hypercritical or not possible, maybe relook at it and see it from their perspective. It could even be a case of put yourself in an outsider's perspective and tell yourself what's been going on and see it from someone else's perspective instead of seeing it from yours. Because sometimes things can happen where you might look at things in a certain light and you might think it's absolutely fine, but to someone else you might be being a little bit unreasonable. Or it could be that something someone else has done to you is unreasonable, where you've kind of let it slide because you think it might be it's normal. Especially like I was saying earlier, if you've had parents that have kind of left you to your own devices and you didn't really, so you think that nurturing your children is not normal potentially, and you think that leaving them to their own devices, if you were to potentially ask other people, what's their idea of raising children, they might be like, oh my god, that's really horrible, you were neglected. Do you know what I mean? So it could be any number of things, but it is suggesting that you might need to change perspective on something, or potentially on a few things, with how much healing was looking as though you may needed to have been doing. So we're also going to pull some dark confessions of the soul for you. So this is what your person is potentially thinking, but they're not able to tell you. So just a small warning, these can be a little bit triggering because they are quite dark. So Spirit, can we get some dark confessions of the soul for Leo, for what their person isn't currently able to tell them? Okay, so we have got, I cannot support your actions, it's too much for me to deal with. Okay, that doesn't necessarily mean that you've been doing something wrong. It could be something as simple as you might have got a promotion at work potentially, and you want to share the happy news, but it might make them upset because they can't celebrate it with you. I have lost all control of my life. I keep messing up. I feel abandoned by you, and it's triggering my childhood traumas. I am finally seeing my worth, yet I still feel unworthy of your love. And I feel cold and detached from this connection. I can't feel emotions right now. I mean, I say these are your persons. These even could be your feelings that you may not be telling yourself, or that you may not be willing to, admit to potentially. But they are supposed to be your persons. Right, so let's also get a Moonology Oracle card for you to see if Spirit has got any more messages that may be a little bit helpful for you, Leo. Okay, so we have got nothing is yet set in stone. Take time to breathe out. Show the world the real you. And you and your loved ones are safe. Okay, so nothing is yet set in stone. So that reconciliation part, even if you have a divorce coming through because of that Hierophant, it doesn't mean that things need to end, you know. That's just a particular phase coming to an end, but it doesn't mean that reconciliation can't necessarily happen. Okay, it could just be, like I say, it is a divorce. It just means that that particular part of your relationship has ended. As silly as it sounds, some people don't get along when they're married. Divorce can, you know, reignite things because, let's face it, some people think that once you're married, you haven't got to put an effort in. Up to the marriage, you've got to put effort in, you know. So yeah, so just bear in mind, nothing yet set in stone. Could even be that your divorce might not yet happen if you're currently going through that. But nothing's currently decided. So you need to, like I say, decide what you want. Take time to breathe out. You and your loved ones are safe, and show the world the real you. Okay. So if you wear a mask quite a lot and hide your feelings and your thoughts, it's time to let them out. Okay. Right. I hope that has helped some of you Leos that are currently facing a separation. Good luck, and thank you for joining me.